Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, mammoths and saber-toothed sloths of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me I have my co-host. Can I ask you something, Jay? How are you so happy? Doesn't it weigh on you that the world might be ending?
Come here. I'm very, very stupid.
That feels like that should be a line reversal. That's something that I should say.
I thought it was funnier if I said it.
Sure. Oh, okay. Anyway, this is a podcast about toy media franchises, 2000s nostalgia, and whatever else we want to talk about. And this week we'll be talking about Ice Age Continental Drift. Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah, this was released in July 13, 2012. This is one that you did not see in theaters.
No, I saw this one in theaters.
Oh, you saw this one in theaters? Okay.
This is the last Ice Age film I saw when it came out. And I disliked the experience so much that I didn't watch Ice Age until we did this podcast series. So it left an impact on me. Not a good one.
Yeah, that 2012 was an eventful year, but yeah. So yeah, anyway, this was directed by Steve Martino and Michael Thurmeyer. Martino co-directed Horton Hears a Who for Blue Sky, and also directed later the Peanuts movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thurmeyer was an animator on all of the previous Ice Age movies and a co-director on the last one, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. So people who are in the Blue Sky ecosystem there. This is written by Michael Berg, Jason Fuchs, and Laurie Forte. We've already talked about Michael Berg, but Fuchs also wrote, this is a stellar resume here, the 2015 Pan, the recent Argyle, and the upcoming Minecraft movie.
Interesting.
Let me check our schedule, because I think we might have just talked about that one. We either just talked about it or are just going to talk about it. Yes, obviously, as of recording, we have not. Yes, we just talked about it last week. So Go listen and hear if we thought that his work on that film was worth
can't wait to talk about last week's episode.
Yeah. And yeah, anyway, Forte also produced all of the... Oh, yeah, Laurie Forte, this is interesting. She was a producer on all of the other Ice Age movies, and not just the movies, but also all of the shorts. So someone who's been in the franchise for a while as like a higher up doing a lot of oversight, and is actually... Here she's credited as for story. So I don't know how much actual writing she did in terms of like the screenplay, but she did come up with at least some of the story here as a producer on the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Enough to get credited, of course. But yeah, music, once again, by John Powell.
All right.
Who has been doing the last few.
The story goes something like this. We return with our favorite protagonist, Scrat, as he tries to plant an acorn, but as he do so, it creates a crevice down to the Earth's core, which he and the acorn fall into. And chasing the acorn around the core causes the continents to split and start drifting apart. One such split separates Manny, Diego, Sid, and Sid's grandmother from the rest of the herd. They float away on a patch of ice. Scrat washes ashore on an island where he finds the skeleton of another squirrel and a treasure map leading to acorns. He starts to follow it, but it is fished out of water by Captain Gut and his fearsome pirate crew. The pirates also capture Manny, Diego, Sid, and Granny, and while trying to escape, Manny sinks the boat and Scrat ends up back in the sea. He makes his way to Switchback Island, where the heroes and pirates have all washed up. Captain Gut orders the local populations of Hyrax to build him a ship, but with the help of Manny, Diego, and Sid, they commandeer the ship. And Scrat tries to use on tries to use on of their abandoned flying devices, but instead of okay, one that's tries to use one of the flying devices, but instead crashes into some ice. Then it is swallowed by a shark. Classic. And that night, Scrat comes across sirens who entice him by taking on the form of an acorn. And Scrat escapes and comes to the end of his treasure map, Atlantis, a city made of acorns. He meets Eris Scrattle, who tells Scrat to control his urges, and Scrat is unable to, grabbing acorns and destroying the city. He pulls an acorn shaped plug and it causes Atlantis to sink and drains the great inland sea.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was confused about the geology of that action because he pulls the plug and it sinks Atlantis, but also drains the sea.
mm,
Like, I'm not entirely sure where the content, because the water goes up and then the water goes down.
yeah, well,
So,
it's important not to think of those things.
yeah. Anyway, the continuing adventures of Scrat and a few other people.
Yes, yes, this film. Hmm.
Yeah, we disagreed on the story here a little bit. So maybe you should go first and give the your perspective as someone who is more familiar with the franchise that has a longer history with it.
Yeah, I think the idea of the Continental Drift works as a pretty good plot element. I think that the threat is pretty decent. The story of having to get home is, you know, it's a good element to have. It's like the Meltdown where they're battling against nature. Where I think the film falls apart is when they introduce pirates, but not just pirates, animal pirates. For me, that goes a step too far. As one, I don't think we needed another set of villains to add to this whole plot about the Continental Drift, because then they, uh, they're not needed. They're just extra. Uh, I don't care about them at all, and also it just breaks the illusion, uh, quote unquote illusion of just like these animals just experience things. When you have animals doing human things like being pirates on a pirate ship with like human piratey stuff, it just takes me out. Plus, plus they had a musical segment which was just, I don't love the way it was done
Yeah,
as
the music
compared.
in this one didn't work as well as the Meltdown.
I feel like the meltdown is like more of an acceptable way of doing it because it's just a random set of characters that you only see for that one scene where they perform the sequence, and none of our main characters are involved in that. They're just like watching it happen. Here you have main characters like our villains being involved in the singing, and it's just not a pretty good song. Like everybody's
Yeah.
not singing very well. Peter Dinklage is being Peter Dinklage, you know. Uh,
Yep.
I feel like by this point, I I guess I'm around the same age as Peaches when this came out, but like I didn't care. I was either too young or just didn't care at all about the teenage plot line because it is a very common teenage plot line. It's like very
Yeah.
obvious,
Yeah.
of course. And as adults, now that I'm past that age, it's like stupid teenagers. Why are you doing that stupid thing? Shut up. Um, yeah, just like writing issues here and there. They're issues to me, and I'm just like so far out of this whole series that I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Plus,
So, oh
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
plus here we have Diego gets a love interest. That's what I remember about this one as well. It's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's where she comes in, I guess, quote unquote love interest.
Yeah. So I am somewhat curious because I don't disagree with you about the pirate stuff. I do think they're kind of superfluous. I don't have a strong opinion though about them being here. I think
Hmm.
they are fine. They don't distract too much from anything around them, but they don't add too much either. I am somewhat curious. Do you think your opinion on this was at all formed by just being a little older when you watched this as opposed to some of the previous ones?
I think so. I definitely think so. Like again, this is 2012. I would have been 14 at this point.
Yeah.
So definitely past the proper age range. I was still watching those kids films, but that was the point where I was like, these aren't really high quality films. I'm only watching this for like the sake of being part of the series and such. Um but still, like again, even still when I watched it back then, I was not
Yeah.
on board. Haha, the pirate theme things. I just didn't think it fit the aesthetic that we had seen in the past three, where things
Oh
were
yeah.
just kind of done somewhat naturally. There were still like slapsticky things that they'll do for the sake of comedy, but it was never like characters purposefully having a pirate ship with like a sail and having swords and
Yeah.
weapons, plundering the high seas. It that just it didn't agree with me when I saw it, and it didn't agree with me still when I saw it again. Even though I do feel sad about this feeling because I can really tell that the people put so much effort into the personalities of the pirates, especially the animation
Yeah.
department. Because it's like, oh man, there's a lot of personalities in these characters. Too bad I hate them.
Yeah, I was just curious to hear that because I think this one is kind of perceived as the one, the drop off in quality. Like I think you have the people who like the first one and then don't like any of the other ones. And then you have the people who like the first three and then dislike the rest of the last two, or I guess now three.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, as someone who is watching these without a strong history with the franchise, I don't detect as much of a drop off in quality between this one and the last one. So
Okay.
that's why I was a little curious if you thought it was at all age related. Because yeah, you think about it, the first Ice Age movie and this one, there's a 10-year gap between them. So
Yeah.
the people who watched the first Ice Age movie around the time it came out are now 10 years older. So yeah, as you were saying, if you saw the first one when you were 4 or 5, now you're a teenager, and you weren't necessarily for the last one because the last one came out what, 2 years, 3 years before this, 3 years before this.
Yeah.
So
So by that point, I was still right before my teenage, so still like the
yeah,
perfect age to enjoy those films. Yeah.
yeah, and this isn't. I guess the same thing kind of also happened with Shrek, didn't it? Where the first 2 to 3 are generally seen as
The first
better
two, at
than,
least. The
yeah,
third one, I think people generally don't like as much, and then the
yeah,
fourth one, I don't like the fourth one personally, because I there's some like weird continuity stuff that I didn't like, um, and that's just me. It was,
yeah,
like when if we ever talk about that film at some point, I'll
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
that there, but. I didn't like how some things were done there. I like a couple bits, but it was definitely an unnecessary entry, I felt.
Yeah. Yeah, because it does seem like a lot of these franchises that had existed throughout the 2000s were kind of falling by the wayside. And as like the original audience that grew up with it was now a bit too old for it, and they hadn't quite been able to get a new audience as invested. Um,
Yeah.
so like this, just box office wise, this one made like 800 some $1 million at the worldwide box office, and
hmm
Dawn of the Dinosaurs had made even more, and then Collision Course made 400 at the global box office, so like not even half. And I
Yeah.
think that is like the drop off of the audience and not being able to bring in younger people, because it's the thing you talk about with toy franchises with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that every 3 to 5 years they have to reboot the cartoon, because otherwise.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say 3 to 5. I'd say like every 5 to 10 years they do.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
do a
It was something
completely
else
new
that I was
start from
more three to
scratch.
five.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, the start. I mean, all of the toy franchises do that to some extent. They start from scratch, throw out the old stuff, or not even necessarily from scratch, but make a new show for a new audience to get invested in.
Hmm.
Barbie weirdly hasn't done that, though they have had like big shifts in priorities, because they've basically done away with the fantasy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Although they recently had like a shift, mostly in their art direction, very slight.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if we noticed or you noticed, but they had a new special on Netflix about Barbie and Teresa cooking.
Oh, I heard that there was something coming. I don't remember if that. We'll let's talk about this after after we finish recording, because
Yeah.
I do know that there's something coming up this year.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, this is an interesting time, because you also have Harry Potter is ending at this time, and obviously Harry Potter had actually like grown up with the audience as they had gotten older. That was kind of the thing that made that franchise different. But yeah, Ice
Hmm.
Age, Toy Story, even like you had Toy
Yeah.
Story 3 come out a couple years before this. You have a like end point for a lot of these franchises, and then the ones that don't end, like Ice Age, the next entry ends up being a bit of a problem.
Yeah. 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 For some, so whenever they make films, they like to do at least trilogies, because by the time they get to the third one, they're like, okay, we'll end the third one with a way that we can end the franchise. But then a lot of them just make a fourth one that just kind of, I don't know, doesn't always work. It kind of
Yeah,
undermines the
yeah,
endings at times.
it's definitely this thing of, because the first Ice Age made what, like 400 some million at the worldwide box office, maybe 300 some, I don't remember off the top of my head. The second
Yeah.
one made like 600 some. So like, oh, that's pretty healthy. That's a lot of money. They're making money off of it. And then the third one made over like close to 900 million. And at that point they're like, well, you got to make another.
Sure.
It made that much money. Even if the next
Sure.
one does half of that, that's still 450 million. And then the next one, Continental Drift, did make a ton of money, which is why they then make a fifth one. The fifth one is where you see the drop off. It's kind of like Transformers, where they make the original trilogy, and the third one makes $1 billion. So they're like, okay, well, I guess we're doing a fourth one. The fourth one makes $1 billion. Well, I guess we're making another one. And then the other one just drops like a rock.
Yeah. It all happened around the same time too,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was Continental, or Collision Course was 2016,
15 or
and
17.
Last Night was 2017. So yeah, it's happening in the same era.
Yeah.
I wonder how much. I mean, we don't have to stay on this too much longer, but I do wonder how much like the Marvel thing had to do with this. Marvel, and I guess Star Wars coming back as well, where you have these franchises that feel newer
Yeah.
and feel
I-
more exciting, and are kind of taking eyeballs away from.
It's also like with every after the Avengers and such and Disney Star Wars, you could really see like a shift in just the way they write dialogue and such. Things
That's
become a lot
true.
more
Yeah.
quippy, I guess.
Yeah.
one-liners, not like classic 80s one-liners that are cool, but just like random bits of jokes for audience retention. I don't know. It becomes more of like
Yeah.
an audience spectacle with like pauses in between things for reaction, and it just doesn't work at times.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with like I can't imagine how that's going to play out with Ice Age, but I imagine they have those moments in the next two movies.
Sure.
But yeah,
Sure.
anyway, back to Collision Course as an actual, or not Collision Course, Continental Drift. I knew I was going to get them
Continental
mixed up.
Drift, yes.
I keep getting them mixed up. I tried to put my scores for this one in the Collision Course document because, okay, there are 24 letters in the alphabet. You are titling your franchise. Each one gets a different subtitle. Don't repeat. You have 24 options. Choose anything else.
Yeah, but collision course makes sense for asteroids. And then this one is
Put
about the
asteroid in the
continental.
title. Put asteroid in the title. It's right there. I Ice Age Meteor Strike. I don't know. I guess that ties in with Meltdown though. So no, that doesn't work. But there are 23 letters, not 23. What's that? 20 letters that they can choose from. And they went with one that they had already used. That wasn't one of the ones they should have used. Yeah. Anyway, I knew I was gonna have to bring up that rant at some point because I knew I was gonna get the two mixed up. Anyway, Collision Course, Continental Drift, the one we are talking about today. It
Yes.
does feel like it is responding to the issues of the last movie, where the last movie they split up the trio, they had new characters, and the yeah, here it is the main trio is together. We have those higher stakes like the Meltdown did.
Yeah.
There is like still a personal element to them though. We have it is Manny is specifically trying to get back to his family, but then there's also like big continents are drifting, courses are colliding,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
things are melting down.
Yeah. We do
The
see
dinosaurs are not dying.
we do see dinosaurs in this one, and
We do,
Buck
we
for a
do.
cameo. Yeah.
uh, yeah, no, it feels like my issues with the last movie. It feels like the writers with this one were like, okay, let's deal with those issues,
Sure.
and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That is maybe raising my score for the story here a little bit. That they recognize that something wasn't quite working and made a change. And I do think this actually, compared to Dawn of the Dinosaurs, does strike a really good balance between the main and supporting characters. Like, we get a little bit of development for Peaches, but the focus is still very much on the main adventure, the main trio.
Yeah.
Her scenes feel like a B plot, whereas that wasn't necessarily the case with the side characters in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So my idea for this one, for an improvement of this movie, as I am want to do with these things, because we have a lot of like little references to the Odyssey. Obviously we have like the sirens, that's probably the most direct reference. We have Sid eating the lotus flower. Why didn't they just do the Odyssey? Like,
I.
think about it, because the Odyssey is about Odysseus going home to be with his wife, and then a whole bunch of misadventures happen.
Mm-hmm.
This one is about Manny. He's trying to get home to his family. Perfect connection there. And we have like these little misadventures along the way. What if they had just been like little episodic things? Like, would you feel better about the pirates if the pirates had been like 10 minutes and then we were done with the pirates and then we moved
I.
on to like the next
Yes.
thing?
I definitely would feel much better, but I still wouldn't like it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I still wouldn't like it, but I would definitely rate this a little bit higher.
Yeah. Because I think that would have made for a more interesting thing because it keeps the big threat is still the continents drifting.
Yes.
Um, but then we are getting these like little mini adventures in this bigger thing, and you could have, I don't know how they do the Cyclops, but you could do a lot of fun stuff with like Cyclops type character, and
Mm-hmm.
Sid has to outsmart it, and Sid like weirdly is the one who like has to take point on that. Then they
I
end up
mean,
with like
the Cyclops could just be Precious, the whale or
yeah.
narwhal. You know?
Well, you do kind of have to have a creature with some intelligence just so that the characters can outsmart it. But yeah, I mean the narwhal would be good for like the maelstrom with like the giant, or Precious would be good for the maelstrom with like the giant monster in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like little episodic adventures,
Sure.
things that
That would that would make me feel better about some things.
yeah, and then we don't need a like big antagonist who is going to be a threat throughout the movie because the threats are
Right.
a little bit more contained. And then we get cool stuff because the Odyssey is a cool story that has a lot of interesting stuff. And there's whirlpools and monsters and magic and mystery. I guess yeah. I think that is a consistent thing with this podcast when we've talked about different things. I wish more things were adapting stories in interesting ways. The way that like Barbie Princess and the Pauper did.
Right. Yeah.
Or the way that I guess Monster High Skull Shores or whatever that one was. That wasn't like the most interesting King Kong riff, but it was at least something.
Yeah. King
Whereas like
Kong, Beauty and the
yeah,
Beast. Yeah.
yeah, here it's just like, oh, we have these little like references to the Odyssey, but it's kind of just generic kids adventure movie
Mm-hmm.
with a villain.
Yeah. A villain with a character that is kind of like Diego, that was attached to the villain, but leaves it.
Yeah. Yeah, she would probably make a bigger impact if she were is it Cersei that they end up on the island and there's like a bit of a dynamic between her and Odysseus.
Uh,
I think that's who it is.
Shira. I don't know.
I don't
Oh,
remember who all of the people were.
I don't know the Odyssey.
I I know the Odyssey very generally. I should read it before the Nolan one comes out.
Hmm.
I've read parts of the Odyssey, but I mainly know it through the episode of Arthur, the animated kids show, where his sister has a dream about the Odyssey.
Okay. Okay.
So
Interesting.
that's where I like know things about the Odyssey from, is from that episode. I should see if I
Hmm.
can find that.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
Or maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't his sister. I don't remember who it was. It was some character. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for the Nolan movie, so I will have to read the Odyssey at some point. Anyway, I gave the story here a 3 out of 5.
I gave it a 2. Yes. Um. Yeah. Pretty much, I said everything. Don't
Yeah.
care about the pirate plot line. I maybe half care about Peaches. I half care about it because of what happens in future films, which uh I guess we'll talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about it with
Yeah.
characters, I guess. Yeah.
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 Characters.
Do we want to get right into Peaches?
If you want to get into Peaches.
Well, you seem to have something to say, so
Well, it's not so much into Peaches, but more like her friend.
okay. Okay.
What's her friend's
Well, yeah, we
name?
can Lewis,
Lewis.
I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
Louis.
Lewis. Lewis. Yeah. So Lewis does not return. I guess like Lewis must
Okay.
die in between films. But like this film puts so much emphasis on their friendship with Peaches and Lewis to the point where Lewis is just gone, missing. And so I feel like my time was wasted with this plot line of this betrayal of friendship and finally realizing, oh no, Lewis, you're my friend. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. I have a theory about Lewis, which is yeah, I don't buy that Lewis is actually or Peaches are actually like a viable couple.
Oh no, that is definitely the more uncomfortable things of this film as well. As soon as you have like interspecies stuff, it's like no, that's not gonna work. Why
It's
you
it's
doing
more
this?
it's more just like personality wise. Because the thing about Lewis is that he is very obviously gay coded.
Okay.
At least that was what I was getting from the character. It's like, yeah, it seems like the kind of thing. I don't know. They probably aren't ever going to do anything with that character again, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but yeah, on to like the main characters here.
Main characters,
Manny,
yeah. Manny.
it's do you find it at all odd that he's just kind of the de facto protagonist of these movies now for the last three movies?
No.
Okay,
No, I've always seen him as the main protagonist.
okay.
So
I
again,
I
it's because
yeah
like I grew up with it and I'm just so used to
yeah
knowing that he's the main character that's like, yeah, sure. Whatever. But yeah, you do notice that the other characters just start getting more and more sidelined as Manny's family grows and grows. Yeah.
yeah yeah. It's interesting to me as someone who is
Mm.
not super familiar with the franchise to be like, oh yeah, the mammoth who's like suburban dad coded. He's the protagonist of these things.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of the same with Shrek, except Shrek is like named after him, so it's less of a
Suburban. I don't know if Shrek is suburban. He's
Shrek is more rural. Yeah, Shrek is more like
I feel like
hillbilly.
yeah, Shrek is the hillbilly who married a city girl and
Yeah. Uh, but the same dynamic of like here is this adult man, he is the protagonist of our kids movie franchise.
yeah.
It's my favorite thing about this is a complete non sequitur. It's my favorite thing about Hayao Miyazaki's Porco Rosso.
Yeah.
That it's like, hey kids, do you want to hear the story of this middle-aged depressed man
Who's also a pig.
who's also a pig who flies airplanes? It's like, oh yeah, that actually makes for a surprisingly interesting movie that is also like, I don't know, are kids like clamoring for like Porco Rosso?
I know I am.
Apparently they clamor for Shrek.
No, Fuckerosis is a fun film.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Porco
Just
Rosso.
the whole seaplane aesthetic is just fun.
Oh yeah. The Italian or I guess
Mm,
Mediterranean stuff, yeah, it's
yes.
a very, very good film. But no, you take a step back, it's like, oh yeah, here's this middle-aged depressed man who's like constantly smoking cigars and complaining about things and also he's a pig.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be the protagonist of our new kids movie. Like imagine
Yeah.
if Disney announced that their next movie was going to be about like a Porco Rosso type character.
Hmm.
It would be cool, but Just yeah. I guess with Soul they kind of got close to that because that's a different type of character, but it is still like the middle-aged man.
Yeah, I guess also Incredibles, but you at least have the children to
Yeah, yeah,
help balance that out.
yeah. Because here we don't have kids.
Not with the characters. That they are on their side adventure, but
Yeah,
not with our main characters.
I meant just in general with Ice Age.
Mm,
Like, I guess the first movie we have the baby, but the baby isn't like the kids watching the movie. I guess Sid kind of fills that role
yeah,
of like the
Sid
kid
is
character who's
kid.
along for the ride.
Yeah,
Shrek is the one that doesn't have the kid character,
no, at
which is
least
weird because even Porco Rosso has the kid character, the
at
kid
least not
sidekick.
yet. We'll
Yeah,
see. We'll
I guess
see.
that's probably why they have Zendaya in that one to be the kid surrogate.
Even though Shrek has two more children.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
We'll see what happens.
we'll see
I
what happens.
I am fascinated by the response to the new Shrek movie because I am so far removed from that, from caring about it. So it is fun to watch people freak out about every little detail.
Mm-hmm. It is. No, that teaser itself is just really weird. It's like, when they're announcing like the people part of the film, the narrator's like Zendaya. Oh snap! We made like a really good move with this one. I'm like, it's just Zendaya. What are you talking about? She's in everything.
Yeah, it's not like they discovered her and then she got big after they had already cast her.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. I was more thinking about that. Maybe I already shared this on the podcast, but everyone was freaking out about the Shrek redesign. And I looked at the
yeah,
redesign and my reaction was corporate has asked you to find the difference between these two pictures. These are the same picture. I seeing them side by side, I have been able to be like, okay, yeah, there is a redesign there.
sure. Yeah, the longer you take a look and compare the two, you do see, well, like that is still very identifiable as Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like
it,
half of it is just lighting.
yeah.
Like that's the reason he is a different green is because there's different lighting in that room. Than, yeah. Anyway, again,
Anyway,
I
anyway,
find it fascinating as someone who is not at all invested in that franchise.
yeah.
As I'm
Anyway,
sure I will
Manny,
find Ice Age 6 fascinating. Yeah.
Manny, suburban dad.
Yeah. They give him the generic overprotective dad arc,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
I will give them this. I don't like that he doesn't have a secondary arc because it just means that this is his only thing going on in the movie. I do like that he spends so much of the movie away from his daughter. Because I think otherwise this would have played out even more generically.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that he isn't there with her throughout the adventure, constantly needling her about all of her little decisions.
Uh
That it's
huh.
really just the beginning and the end that he is present for
Mm-hmm.
in her story. He is obviously present throughout the whole film. But yeah,
He's
it does
here.
shortchange him that he
Yeah.
doesn't have a secondary arc.
I mean, it's it was the only logical arc to give to him. It's like, okay, he has a kid. What are we gonna do now? Well, we'll just like do more father parenting
Yeah.
stuff.
It fits with his character. I kind of wish they had done something more interesting though. Like
I don't
even
know
just
what.
the reverse of it. Even just the reverse of Peaches is like very shy and he's trying to push her to be more outgoing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Cuz I mean that's not like an unheard of thing for an arc to be.
No.
But it's at least a little bit less generic than overprotective dad.
Yeah, but this is This is a kids' film Ice Age.
Yep.
We can't get past the generic. It's Hollywood.
Uh,
There's only
yep.
so far you can go.
They have the one animated movie script, and it's locked in a vault somewhere. And anytime anyone is like, "Hey, I want to make an animated movie," they pull out the script, they put it in the photocopier, and then you find and replace all of the names, and then you replace the new names in, and then you print it out and you hand it in, and are like, "Okay, here's my animated movie." They're like, "Ah,
It's
good.
perhaps
This
a little
has
more
all of the exact
complicated
same
than that.
beats."
But yes, it does feel like that a whole lot of times.
Uh,
Yes.
what? Okay. I keep going on non sequiturs. This is because I don't have much to say about this movie.
No,
When they
yeah.
made the Scooby Doo animated movie from a few years ago, Scoob,
Scoob, yeah.
they made it an adventure movie. Scooby Doo. What's the first thing you think of when you think of Scooby Doo genre? Mystery. Where is the mystery? Why is this a road trip buddy adventure movie?
Gotta solve that mystery. Yeah.
It's Mystery Incorporated, not Adventure Incorporated. I'm still mad about that one. I am more mad about that one than the Velma TV show because I just decided not to care about the Velma TV show, but I did actually watch the Scoob movie, and so that bothers me so much more. Anyway, Diego,
Anyway,
he has a romance
Diego.
arc.
Yeah.
Why? Don't give him a
It's
romance.
there. Gives him something
Yeah,
to do, I guess. Again, he's past his health problems. It's back to
yeah,
normal.
uh, yeah. I mean, part of it is that I had headcanon him as gay, so
Sure.
I was not super into this arc, but also just like the least interesting direction to go for him because we've done that with Manny already. We're presumably going to do that with Sid at some point.
We gotta balance our roster with each main character has to have a female counterpart. Sid has Granny, so Diego needed
uh,
someone else.
just have that be. Isn't it so much more interesting if that isn't a romance?
Maybe. Is
If
it
that's just
fully
like,
a romance in this one? I know that Sid and Manny are like, hey, look at that, female.
oh no, it is very much, it is because when he sees the siren singing, it
Oh,
is her.
right. Yeah. Okay. That's right.
Yeah. No, I definitely do get what you're saying though. Of there is like, if they wanted to have ambiguity there, does she show up in the next one?
Yes. They
Oh,
don't. They're not a very romantic couple. They just
yeah.
kind of are there. They hang out together, and that's about it. I
You
don't
see,
ever feel.
to me, they seem like compet. Like they're together not because they actually have romantic feelings for each other, but because they get along with each other well
It's like
enough. And
oh man, this other person's the most competent person in this group, so I'm just gonna hang out with them on our by ourselves.
yeah, and then it's because, oh well, you're a girl and I am a guy, so I guess we should have a romance because that's what
Yeah,
girls and guys do.
we gotta repopulate since there's no more saber tooth anywhere around. We killed them all.
uh, oh,
Uh,
this is again complete non sequitur. I was wondering if the next movie, if Ice Age
mm,
6, the plot is going to be start off with the Scrat, whatever's going on with Scrat. Then we cut to the humans. The baby from the first one is grown up.
yeah.
Sabretooth show up, steal his baby, and now
Oh.
he has to find Manny, Diego, and Sid to go and rescue his baby.
Oh no.
And we get back the
Okay.
Sabretooths from the first movie.
Get back Jack Black and Alan Tudyk. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they now own a uh I don't know, a meat shop, a
yeah.
butcher shop.
And
It's
they're
like
getting revenge because they're trying to lure Diego in.
they'll be like the John Turturro's character in Revenge of the Fallen. Just
Yes. They'll base their performances off of Michael Bay.
yes, one man alone, betrayed by the country he loves.
Uh, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, Diego. Sid, he doesn't have an
Sid,
arc.
no, he's here. He's
Where
here to spat
okay,
out some one-liners. Yeah.
yeah. When his family showed up, I was like, "Oh no, this was a terrible decision for them to make. We should never see his family." They show
Yes.
up, they drop Granny off, they leave, and I was like, "Okay, no, that actually is perfect.
Yes. No.
That that is consistent with uh it's the perfect amount. They better never show up in any of these ever again
I hope so. Yeah.
because it's so much funnier that they show up for 5 minutes and you're like, "Oh, I wonder where the movie's going from here." And then they just leave and the movie doesn't go anywhere from there. I guess you do kind of have Sid has like a kind of arc about like wanting to be useful, but then he like eats the lotus flower and passes out. And yeah, I don't know. There's something you could build there. I do kind of respect that they don't build something there, that he's not really hung up on his family.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't care. Yeah. No. Nothing really
Yeah.
happens from it. The only thing we've gained from that interaction is a granny, and we'll talk about Granny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, Peaches. Her
Peaches.
arc is ripped directly out of Barbie Diaries. Obviously, Barbie Diaries did not invent this
Oh,
arc because this arc is as generic as they come.
yeah.
She's, I guess, the part that isn't ripped out of Barbie Diaries is the like teen influence. The she's going to parties with boys, and her dad says
Mhm.
no, and she's like, "Yes, I'm going anyway." And then it ends up that, oh, her dad was right to be overprotective, but not right as well, because then she
Were
like
you at
kills some
all
pirates.
just surprised to see just how many other mammoths there were in this one?
Yeah, it seemed weird that they showed up. Um,
Yeah.
it didn't bug me.
No, but it was just like a weird thing to see because the whole thing is about Manny's going against the flow and going with the
That's
other
true.
mammoths.
Yeah,
The other mammoths they're going on their own journey, doing
which
whatever.
which is the weird thing about this franchise is that the first movie is the only one in which they're actually going against the flow, and then after
Right.
that they kind of get their own herd that they're kind of the leaders of, but kind of not.
Yeah,
It's a little
kinda.
ambiguous as to like what is this herd. Yeah, I don't know, because it's like you have the core families, but then they're also part of this bigger community, but they're
Mm-hmm.
also separate from that bigger community.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't really know. I think that is just really to facilitate Peaches having
Yeah.
an arc in like the high school. Oh, she thinks she's in love with this boy, but actually she's in love with her best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It just seemed like an odd thing to happen. It
Yeah,
was like, huh, okay. Whatever. They're all just stupid teenagers anyway, so it's whatever.
yeah. I need to do an actual research into this. How many stories that are actually like primarily written by women have a female character end up with the dorky best friend at the end of the movie versus how many former dorky best friends write that the woman character ends up with them at the end of the movie.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whose idea is this serving? Is this serving Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but that might be an interesting thing to look into.
Okay.
Because in Twilight, she doesn't end up with the dorky boy next door. She ends up with the vampire. Actually, there's like
Yeah.
multiple dorky boy next doors that she doesn't end up with. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
yeah, generic arc has the generic proving her dad wrong arc as well.
Yeah. It's it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not like offensive. I guess part of me is a little bit skeptical of the. I guess the two arcs kind of are in conflict with each other. Because with the like, don't hang out with the other mammoths, they're bad influences. Her dad is right about that. But when it's like, don't try and do stuff for yourself, he's wrong because she kills some pirates at the end.
Yeah.
I guess it's like, I guess we can say that's a little bit of complexity that dad isn't always right about everything.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, Ellie, I missed seeing her as much here. I think it's the correct decision, but yeah, I like her as a character. She's like the
She.
most emotionally intelligent of any of the characters, which makes her a really good mother. And we
Okay.
don't see that with Peaches.
Hmm.
We don't see that with, I don't know how her and Manny parent together.
It seems very contradictory to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how parents are sometimes.
Yeah.
One is more
It
lenient
doesn't
to the other.
yeah.
Oh.
Because I wouldn't even say Ellie is lenient. I think Ellie understands Peaches in a way that Manny can't and never can. But that understanding of Peaches means that her and that Ellie and Manny are on different sides of how to handle situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It works within the confines of the movie, but when you think about it further than that, you're like, how does this family unit function in their day-to-day life?
Yep.
But then we get to probably your favorite of the new characters here, I would guess, Granny.
Granny. Granny. I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed Granny on this rewatch. I completely forgot about her, and then when she showed up, I was like, oh yeah, Granny. Yeah. No, I thought she was fun. She was
Yeah.
fun. She she was the kooky old lady who just is delirious and senile, and when it really mattered, she's actually uh
The only one paying attention.
or she has like an ace up her sleeve that helps solve
Yeah.
things. Yeah. I think a lot of what makes this character work is Wanda Sykes.
Yes. Yes. Her
Yes.
performance is phenomenal.
Yeah, she has so many great one-liners here that just made me chuckle.
Yeah.
um so it was like watching this, like she was like the one endearing thing that I enjoyed. Plus her and Scrat. But it's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
was really hoping for I really needed Granny in this one, so she was a great addition.
I think the most like striking thing about this is Precious, her
Hmm.
imaginary pet. I did not
Yeah.
usually I catch on to these things. I did not figure it out until the fruit disappeared.
Yeah.
I did not figure out that she actually had a pet named Precious that was following them
And the
for
pet
so
was like
long.
this whale thing. I don't know how she
Giant
even got
whale.
Precious. How does she get Precious? Is the
I
big
don't
question.
know. It's so good though, because yeah, it's it they are telling you about it the entire movie, and you just like write it off as like, oh, they're hitting that joke again.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like throwing the fruit, and I assume she's like throwing the fruit out into the water, and that's going to be like what leads the pirates to them. But no, then the fruit starts disappearing, and I'm like, wait a second, Precious is real? What?
Yeah. No.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Any movie that ends with a giant whale knocking down some bad guys, Avatar: The Way of Water style.
yeah. Yeah, Granny could have easily been a little overbearing because sometimes the old
Yeah,
lady characters does kind of do that in some films, but I think here they struck like the perfect chord for this character.
yeah, it's a really good balance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Captain Gut, he's the villain. He's the captain
Yeah,
pirate captain. Collision
yeah.
course. Yeah, he's fine. He's generic. I The first scene he showed up in, I was like, you know who would have aced this role?
Mm,
Tim Curry.
Tim
This
Curry.
character needs Tim Curry energy.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
a little more flamboyant.
I
Something
feel
a
like Tim
little,
Curry, if this film was made like 10 years or like 5 years earlier, Tim Curry probably would have been the casting choice for this
yeah,
one.
just like someone a little bit more flamboyant and out there to make the character really click.
Yeah. No.
I know there's probably not a version of this character that you fully get on board for just because of your issues with the movie in general.
But casting can really help.
Yep, yep.
Hearing Tim
Even just like,
Curry would probably be like,
yeah.
that would be good, a good role for him.
And if you are casting him, you're presumably making changes to the character, like little characterization changes that just make him a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we have Shira, who's the generic second in command, who gets fed up with the lead villain and joins the heroes.
Yeah, the brainwashed one. The one like, I
Yeah.
was rescued and they love me, but no, they don't. Yeah, that one.
Yep. The rest of the crew, you can tell that the animators put so much effort into creating and animating them, and none of them leave an impression because the story just does not have time or care about any of them.
They are very much. I really felt like they were made for younger audiences to enjoy the
Yeah.
silliness of the characters, which
And for toys.
if they even made toys of these characters, yeah,
I mean,
they
I
probably did.
would have to, yeah.
They probably did.
That's the reason to have this many distinct looking characters with like at least one moment so that the kid who has the toy of that character can play that moment out with the toy.
Yeah, get the pirate characters, play with your Jack Sparrow and such, because pirates were the thing around this time. Although this was probably where pirates were dying down.
Yeah, this is Pirates on Stranger Tides had come out like the year before this.
Yeah,
And that was, I mean, that made a whole lot of money, but that was kind of the beginning
yeah.
of the end.
By the shift of this decade, you were seeing um, pirates being less and less prevalent.
Yeah.
Although, although Assassin's Creed 4 did really well because that was the pirates
That's
one.
true. What year
Yeah,
did that come out? Because that was like
2013, 2014.
2013. Okay, yeah. I think part of that is that's just a game that was fulfilling the very specific niche of what if you were captain of pirate ship, and there weren't other games that were asking what if you were captain of pirate ship.
True.
And
Yeah.
so, but yeah,
Yeah.
I did just look it up. There are toys for all of these various pirate characters, maybe not all of them, and you can get the pirate ship play set. You can play with all, oh yeah, that's like most of the pirates. You can get the little flag guy, you can get Captain Gut, you can get the seal, you can get like the bird thing, you can get the kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Yep. And the ship playset only comes with 3 figures. So you have to buy more
Oh.
if you're going to play with the
Okay.
playset.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like if you want the bird is a separate, like you have to buy the 4-pack with the characters that are already included in the pirate ship. But then you also get the bird. So if the
Diabolical.
bird is your favorite, then you're out of luck. Maybe you could buy them each individually.
Hmm.
Also, they like put the kangaroo in a double pack with Scrat.
Yeah.
What? Those characters do that? Maybe they have an interaction. I don't know. I don't care. This doesn't matter. Scrat.
Anyway, Scrat. Scrat is fun.
Yeah.
Here, I love the ending of Scrat's journey, where he
Yes.
just
Yes.
demolishes a whole civilization.
And that
Yeah.
we see that this is like not a thing that is inherent to his species. That the other squirrels have been able to rise above their base urges and create something. And Scrat is just so singularly focused that he ends up toppling the entirety of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of squirrels that are still crazy about the acorn.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
guess you do get Scrat from the last movie.
At least Scrate was able to give up the acorn for Scrat.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was able to give up. Um, I know that the Scrat Child. I don't know. We'll ever talk about that miniseries, but the Scrat Child is a thing.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for the Scrat Tales or whatever that was. I may watch it so we can talk about it in the Buck Wild episode because I'm
Do
assuming
it.
we won't
Do
have a
it.
lot of other things to talk about in that episode.
Yeah. Do it. Again, they're like 2 minutes long. They're really short.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave the characters a 3 out of 5. I don't why did I
I.
give the characters a 3 out of 5?
I don't know. That was you. I gave them a 2.
Yeah, that's probably I did something with my score, so I can drop that. We'll drop that to a 2.5 out of 5.
If you say so.
I do. I say, and thus it is so.
And thus it is so. All right. Visuals. Visuals.
Yeah.
I didn't notice a lot of improvement, just like subtle stuff, but it is on par with what they've been doing recently. So
Yeah, there aren't as much like it's not as big of a leap over the last one. Um which yeah, again, at this point the technology has increased to its capacity to the amount that you're not going to see big jumps in just a 3-year time span.
maybe the water is what they focused on or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's some good water animation. There's some less good water animation, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's to be expected. Water is notoriously difficult to animate in CG.
Okay.
I at some point I feel like I could become very interested in animated water because I am always fascinated by like Disney, like early Disney movie water. Like in Bambi, the water just looks so
Mm,
interesting.
okay.
And yeah, I'll look at other stuff and like in stop motion, there's some great like stop motion water out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's not an important thing to talk about.
but this film has
Yeah,
animation.
it does. Oh,
It does.
okay. Here's one thing I was missing. We don't have a Buck Wild character here that is just fun to watch move.
No, no. I think they gave that to just the pirate characters, at least some of them.
Yeah, but like Captain Gut is a monkey, and so moves like one time he uses his feet as hands, but in
Yeah.
general he's moving in pretty standard ways. I think the closest you get that I guess, yeah, so, some of the other pirate characters are moving a little bit more
I guess
interesting.
also Crash and Eddie are
Yeah,
somewhat
but
better.
they're like barely in this. I
Yeah.
think the thing that stood out to me most, besides obviously Scrat has very dynamic animation. Um, Sid, when he is becoming paralyzed, like the way his like parts of his body start drooping before the entirety of him does, that worked a little bit better. But yeah,
Mhm.
one of the things that sets Ice Age apart from other animated franchises of this time is how dynamic the characters are in their movement. And generally, it's only Scrat that is getting that level of detail. And then last movie, we got lucky and had Buckwild. And now we're back to it's mainly just Scrat.
Mhm.
But yeah, animation overall. I mean, it's Ice Age. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I gave it a 3.4. Yeah.
Yeah. On to voice acting next. A lot of the
Voice
same
acting.
people. Don't have
Yeah.
much to say about the main cast. We do have Peter Dinklage as Captain Gut,
Yeah. Peter
an
we've
actor
talked
we've
about
talked
Peter
about
Dinklage
before.
before in the Transformers, how
Yeah.
his energy in his vocal performance is not the most interesting.
Yeah. It seems to be a somewhat consistent thing where he is a much better live action actor than voice actor. And I think you've talked about how a lot of that might just be circumstances in directing that is leading to less interesting performances from him. But I definitely
Yeah.
feel that here, like, Captain Gut is not a well written or interesting character on the script. So
Mhm.
he needs something that's going to bring him to life a little bit more in the performance. And Peter
Perhaps.
Dinklage isn't bad. I think he has better energy here than he did in whatever Transformers
Yeah.
movie we talked about him in.
Yeah, that is very true. He was better here than in Transformers, but still, it
Yeah.
was. It's still.
On the opposite
But
end of the spectrum, we have Wanda
Wanda
Sykes.
Sykes. I love Wanda Sykes. Like, I'm
Yeah.
always happy every time she's on screen. Like, she gives pretty much the exact same vocal performance in every role she does, but she just has a really good energy to her, and like she does a really good job. She's very consistent. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's great.
Yeah. She
Love her.
she brings so much personality to Granny that
Hmm.
yeah, this character would not work with someone else in this role
No,
nearly to this extent.
no.
Jennifer Lopez as Shira?
I I I didn't know it was her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Jennifer Lopez, so it does feel like, yeah, that is a voice that fits the character. We have Josh Gad as Lewis. I
Hmm.
didn't realize he
Yeah,
was in stuff this early. I guess
yeah.
this
A
is
year before,
Or a year before
a year
Frozen. Yeah,
before
yeah.
Frozen. Yeah, I was surprised about that too. Yeah,
And then Kiki Palmer as Peaches. I
yeah,
thought she did pretty solid.
yeah. She's fine.
Nick
Yeah.
Frost? Who's Flynn? Is Flynn
Uh,
Flynn must be one of the
it-
pirates.
one of the pirates. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really recognize a lot of these people. Aziz Ansari as Squint, Drake as Ethan.
Yeah. Drake is
Yeah,
Ethan, and then Nicki Minaj as Steffi.
Nicki Minaj.
yeah,
Uh,
they did fine. I don't
yeah.
know. Apparently, there's something going on with Drake right now. I don't keep up with hip hop be. I guess there's also usually something going on with Nicki Minaj as well. So who knows?
Stuff
Someone
doing
not me
stuff.
knows.
Stuff doing stuff. I don't know. Alan Tudyk is doing more stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Hunky
he's the
siren.
hunky siren who's the one that Granny sees. That was one of my favorite jokes.
Yes. At the bottom here, we have Patrick Stewart as Eris Scrattle.
Yes.
Mhm.
Very very good use of him as like a cameo.
Yes. uh, but yeah, everyone else did what they do.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have any complaints about the vocal performances, but nothing really stood out too much to me. So I gave them a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 3, which is what I've been giving all the other ones. I should raise it slightly for Wanda Sykes, but I'll leave it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave mine as well. That feels like a correct score for these. So yeah, on to the sound/music. I have not been noticing the musical score in these for a while,
No,
which
I've
is
only noticed the main score that they do. But
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there. I'm not missing it.
Yeah. Plus, although this one does have a musical scene that
Yeah,
didn't
that
quite
was poorly
sell it for
implemented.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a weird choice. A weird choice. Yeah. I gave the sound a 3.3.
Yep. And I gave it a 3.5, which leaves me with a total of 16 out of 25, which is a 64% or a 3.2 out of 5 stars.
I have a 13.7, which is a 54.8% or 2.745 star rating. Yep.
Yeah.
Continental
It's a nice
Drift.
stage.
It's a
Not
nice
collision
thing.
course.
Not collision course. That'll be next time. Yeah.
Yep.
This is, man. Do I own this one on DVD? I might. So
I
I
do.
saw it in theaters. I might own it on DVD, but I never watched it because I did not like the film. So yeah.
Yeah. I own this one on DVD because for the series, they had a good sale on Amazon for the 5 movie collection. So I bought it. And then I opened it up and it had the 5 Ice Age movies, which are, of course, Ice Age, Ice Age The Meltdown, Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Ice Age Continental Drift, and Ice Age. They sent me 2 copies of the first Ice Age movie and no copies of Collision Course.
Yeah.
I don't care because I don't care to own these. I just bought it because it was a good price and I was either going to have to buy them or rent them anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting.
Yes. Well, I'm glad I'm done with this one. 'Cause this is one that I have so much negative feelings towards this one that's like years in the
Yeah.
making. So I have less of that towards the next one. Next one's not even
Okay.
good. But like I don't have like the childhood anger that I did.
The animosity.
Animosity, yes. Yes. Well, with that, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Blue Sky and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Go join our Patreon at patreon.com/Binging Barbie Podcast. We'll be back next week to talk about Ice Age Collision Course. And until then, if I don't make it, find me a wife and tell her I love her. Yes.
Bye, Barbie.
Bye, Barbie. Ah!